Hello, I'm Mandla Lupondwana.
And I'm Aevia.
We're continuing with our lockdown tips for the family, and today we're focusing on positive attention
And affirmation. Today's verse is taken from Proverbs 16, verse 24, which says,
Pleasant words are like a honeycomb, sweet to the soul and health to the bones. The Bible connects pleasant words with honey. Honey is sweet, and beyond that, it's got some health benefits.
Yes, it can lower cholesterol and blood pressure.
It can also reduce heart disease and strokes. So honey is a sweet thing that's just great for our health overall. And the same applies to pleasant words. Pleasant words are good for our mental health. Mm-hmm. Pleasant words are good for our emotional health.
Yes.
They are great for our relationships. And when those three are on point, it has positive spin-offs for our physical health. And so we are able to see the power of this text. Pleasant words
Are like a honeycomb,
sweet
to the soul,
sweet to the soul,
and health
to the bones. We're going to talk about 5 things. And the first of those 5 is positive attention and affirmation for yourself.
I'm sure you've heard the expression self-talk. Self-talk is what we engage in when we are alone and we are talking just to ourselves. Sometimes it's to give encouragement. Sometimes it's just to compliment ourselves like, hey, I'm looking good, checking out the digs. Or looking back at the things that you have done at the past. But what we would like you to always focus on is not just talking to yourself. That may include saying negative things about our physique.
Usually, self-talk is negative. We usually focus on what's wrong. You stand in front of a mirror, look at what's wrong. You look at faults that you could see when you've made a mistake. Oh, I'm so foolish. Oh, I'm an idiot, and all of that. And generally, probably it's to try and motivate ourselves. I don't know, to do better next time. But we would like you to focus on
Words of affirmation.
yes, the positive stuff.
Yes.
Look at what you have going for yourself. And when you talk to yourself about yourself, be positive. Affirm yourself.
It is also beneficial to allay fears. If there's something that you need to do and you are fearful, if you talk to yourself and tell yourself, I can do this, and you also reflect on times in the past where you may have had a challenge and you're able to overcome. With that kind of talk, saying those positive things to yourself, it helps to boost your self-confidence. And it also gives you that extra oomph that is necessary to accomplish the desired goal.
Add to that the text that I can do all things through Christ who gives me
yes.
strength. Pleasant words, you will discover, are like a honeycomb, sweet to the soul
and health to the bones.
The second thing we'd like to talk about is positive attention and affirmation for your children. Now, our children they take their cue from us. Their sense of who they are and what they are, they get it from us as their parents. And so it's very important that the things we focus on, the things we pay attention to, the things we say to them about them, the things we say to other people about the children, it's important that those things are positive, that those things are affirming the children. Sometimes we say the negative stuff in order to bring to their attention the things they have to improve on.
Yes.
The things they have to stop. But in the process, you can end up blowing up the negative stuff to an extent that they think that the things you always talk about, that's basically who they are. You can tell them that they are lazy often enough for them to believe that, hey, I'm lazy.
And then they act likewise.
Exactly. And that becomes counterproductive because that's not what you intended. During this lockdown, we would like you to practice focusing on the things you like. If they took dishes to the kitchen, of course it's normal, they're supposed to do it, but say something positive about it. It's going to grow. If they are responsible, they played well with the kids, say that. Don't try and balance it with something negative to say that, you're such a great person with the children. It's a pity you're a bully. Did you really have to bring that in? So when you talk to the children, when you talk about them, remember Proverbs 16:24. Pleasant words are like a honeycomb, sweet to the soul
and health
to the
bones.
The third one is positive attention and affirmation for parents?
Well, as parents, when we have our children, they do not come with a manual. So there are times when we may do things which may not be right, but it should not get us down. Instead, we should always try to be positive. We do our best and ask the Lord to do the rest.
You'll find that when we are trying to raise our children, because we don't know how it's going to turn out, we are relying now on the knowledge and the information that we have. Trust that, and trust that God will give you the wisdom to make the appropriate decisions. At the end, when your children are adults, you'll be able to look back and feel, well, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, I did a good job.
Yeah, but remember, at that point, it's not just you. It's you and what the Lord has done and what other people have contributed, and your child's choices as well. So as a parent, it's easy for us to be very hard on ourselves, to be very critical of ourselves, as if we are failing, especially when you look at other people and it looks like they have it all together.
Their kids are doing so well.
Yes, and you
mine
feel,
aren't.
oh, I messed up. Please be kind to yourself. Remember Proverbs 16:24.
Pleasant words are like a honeycomb, sweet to the soul, and health to the bones.
The fourth one is siblings. Siblings, you have them. You may be at home with your siblings. Your siblings may have their own houses somewhere else, but it is a wonderful thing to get a word of affirmation from your siblings.
Yeah.
You can succeed in the world, but it's wonderful when they see it at home and when they are able to affirm you. They're able to focus on the good things. Is it possible that you've got a whole lot of things that are going wrong in your life? Yes, but it is wonderful to have somebody who sees the beautiful things in your life as well and doesn't just see them, but affirms them. We have an in-law that recently came out of a correctional facility, and one of the beautiful things about him is that he was so handy, so diligent.
He worked well within the home.
True. And he was great with the kids.
Yeah.
Now, when you watch him with children, when you watch him around the house, making sure that everything is running on point, you could be tempted to focus on the fact that, well, he's got a record. But on the other hand, there are other things you can affirm about him and realize that, you know what, in everybody, there will be something that you can affirm. Don't look at them and list all the bad things they have done. Every human being has something that can be affirmed, something about them that can be said that is good. Now, that thing can be found in every sibling. Now, you may be thinking, you don't know my sibling. Well, I don't need to know your sibling. I just need to know that they're human beings, and every human being has something that can be affirmed. And during this lockdown, that's what we would like you to do. Remember Proverbs 16:24. Pleasant words are like a honeycomb, sweet to the soul,
and health
to the
bones.
The last one is your spouse. Oh, positive attention and affirmation for your spouse.
It always feels so good when you know that at home I have someone that I can rely on, someone who thinks the world of me, someone who I can go to when everything is bleak. And I know that when I'm with that person, they'll always have something good and something pleasant to say. It makes you want to be around that person all the time, because we always want to be around people who make us feel good about ourselves. Sure?
That is true.
And that's wonderful if that person can be your spouse.
When we are young and we get married, we usually look better than we do later on, but we look good.
Yeah, things change.
Yes, but then we get married and have kids and so on, and our shapes change. And it's not just certain genders change, shapes that change. Everybody's, all genders have shapes that change. We develop wrinkles, we get slower.
Gray hairs.
Yes, our hair gets gray, which, by the way, can be good looking. It can be good looking. But as we change, it is good to know that at the very least, you have one person to whom you still look good. One person who's able to look at the good things.
And think that you're special.
That is true. One person who just does not see you now, but sees what you've been, Yes. The one person who's able to look at you and talk about the things that you are good at. Someone who can affirm the fact that you're good with children. You're a great administrator. You're diligent. You're faithful at work. Someone who's able to notice those little things, because In life, you have people who look at the big picture. You know, you're a successful this, you're not a successful that, and you've been in this position for a very long time. But it's good to have a spouse who's able to regularly say positive things about you, who's able to focus on the positive stuff about you, who's able to affirm you as a spouse. It's a great thing. And people who say good things about us, we want to be around them.
So during the lockdown, I want us to be the cheerleader of our spouses.
Yes.
Build them up throughout these 21 days.
I don't think it's going to have to be one long session, one day, sit down, let me tell you something about you. I wrote it down. No, just drop it,
Here,
small doses,
there.
small dose, like treatment, people who are on chronic medication, they don't take the whole packet on the first day they get it. It's small doses, every day, take 2 tablets here, 1 tablet there. Same thing applies with affirmations. Do that with your spouse, and you'll be surprised how it changes the atmosphere in the home. It changes the way you relate. It changes how they see you. It changes the communication. It just makes it a pleasure to be around, because this is generally how we are as human beings. We like to be around people who affirm us.
Yeah.
And we try to avoid being around people who don't. Now you may be thinking, I have so many things to talk about with my spouse. If he could or she could fix A, B, C, D, E, F, G, well,
They'll be perfect.
let's assume they don't fix A, B, C, D, E, F, G. What about the stuff from H to Z? Can you focus on the H to Z? Because that may be okay. Well, A, B, C, D, E, F, G may actually be not that great, but what comes after that may be something worth affirming. Please, every spouse has something that can be affirmed about them. And please start. Don't even wait for the other one to do it. And don't even wait for it to be reciprocal in the sense that I'll drop one today and hope that you're going to say something. If you don't, that's it. This thing is not working. It's one-sided. Don't go for the 50-50 thing. If you affirm your spouse, over time, it's going to change the atmosphere. And this lockdown won't be as unpleasant as it can be. So remember Proverbs 16:24.
Pleasant words are like a honeycomb, sweet to the soul and health to the bones.
May God richly bless you and those around you, so that when this verse becomes a reality in your home, this lockdown will fly by. And before you know it, it will be over. God bless you and thank you.